Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are doing a vacation home for Frigga the penguin. I never know how to pronounce her name, whether it's with a hard G or a soft G. As you may have heard there, I did do a hard G. I googled it too. I wasn't really able to find a suitable answer. It said that she's probably potentially named after a Norse goddess. Could be wrong, but I didn't know how to pronounce her name. Still don't. In my head, I always say it with a hard G. She wanted a movie theater, essentially, and I had no ideas for this. It would have been better, in my opinion, if we had like the movie theater seats. I think that we had them in New Leaf in Happy Home Designer. I know that we have them in Pocket Camp because they're part of a fortune cookie, but we don't have that in this game. I was considering doing the movie theater viewing space on the main level and then having her own a little apartment upstairs like I typically do with builds that are kind of business adjacent. I did not do that here because I didn't really know what to do for the build. Maybe I'll go back and renovate it at some point and add a little apartment for her upstairs. Knowing me though, I most likely will not do that because I think this is fine. At the end of the day, the villagers don't really care so long as you put down the required items. I also didn't know what to do for the outside, and I feel like I left it very generic because to me this is definitely more of an inside build. I probably could have put another projection outside and made it more like an outdoor movie space in addition to the indoor one, but I don't know. Inside, I feel like things could have potentially gone a little better. I just didn't have the creativity available to me at the time to do something that looked super amazing out of this world. I feel like overall this build looks kind of generic. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I kind of kept to the color palette that was presented to me in the requested items tab when it comes to the inside. And because of course she's a penguin, we had to build it on one of the lots in the icy, snowy biome. I wish that it was icy and snowy here. It's warm. It's in like the 70s, which is kind of average, I feel like, but it's been very humid, and because of that, it feels a lot warmer than it probably is. I'm in like the southern part of the mid-Atlantic in the US, so we also had thunderstorms yesterday and today, which has like worsened the feels like temperature, in my opinion. It just feels too warm, and it's humid, and it's kind of gross, but we're dealing with it. It's fine. It is what it is. It's not like going to last forever. However, in terms of this build, I feel like I said, I maybe could have done well to put like a partition wall or something, sectioned off the part where they're watching movies from the part that I'm imagining is like the little concessions area with the popcorn machine and the benches with the table, like the booth seating and stuff. Also, weird choice for food. I probably could have gone with like more of the popcorn and soda things and just had those everywhere, but then I feel like that would have been really boring. So I wanted to have a little bit more of a variety here. I don't know. This is just one of those builds where I feel like she might have been better off being roommates with somebody else instead of me having to do this from the ground up. But I kind of wanted to challenge myself too. And I think I said in the last Happy Home video that I was going to do Ike's vacation home because he was at the beach at the same time as Walker, but he wasn't there when I went back to Happy Home Paradise. And I think that's because I waited too long. I went back several days, almost a week after doing Walker's, and the villagers do cycle out every so often on the beaches. I know that he'll be there eventually, especially because the villagers that I've been seeing recently on the beach have been kind of the same crew for the most part. I know that also you can do vacation homes for them if you find them in the cafe. I did not look in the cafe because I always keep forgetting to look in there. I only kind of see who's on the beach and then just go from there. Eventually though, I'm gonna have a point in this game where they're not gonna be any new villagers in the cafe for me to do homes for. It's just going to be people on the beach, and then eventually I'm going to do homes for everybody in the beach. It's going to be totally empty, which is going to be really weird. I also keep forgetting too that I have a bunch of amiibos. I mentioned this in prior videos. I could honestly just easily grab a random amiibo and make a house for one of them. And Elise, who's still hanging out on my island, I have not made a vacation home for her, I'm pretty sure, so I could do that. I know I talked in a previous video, a few of them actually, that I'm not going to be doing as much Happy Home Paradise. I think that I can do it just fine now going off of the consistent schedule that I've had where Wednesday is a Happy Home video. But when I was doing them for a period of time, I kind of like did it one right after the other to like pre-record. I could break it up a little more and that would make it a lot easier for me. So I'm not just sitting there doing a million vacation homes in the span of a couple of days. Maybe like do one a day or one every other day today, which is kind of what I've been doing with The Sims. I've been building a lot and renovating houses and stuff. I'm going to talk about this in my next Sims video where I do make a house that ends up turning out a lot different than how I originally anticipated it, because like I was looking at home plans, but I didn't end up using one. I kind of just went with something that I saw as a guide and then expanded off of that. But we're done. We got 40,000 Poki for our work because we are at the top level of the Happy Home Paradise promotional ladder, I guess you would call it. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.